we've seen a few presidents over the years be really interested in sports. Of course, George W. Bush was a part owner of a baseball team. You saw Barack Obama filled out his NCAA tournament brackets every year, and President Donald Trump is also getting into the sports world, dealing with the future of college athletics as it relates to everything that has changed within the last 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and he will get basically a pool of people that are really influential both on the college level and the professional level to discuss what is up with college sports and some few ties to the SEC. Welcome to Southeast Sports Plus. I'm Gerhard Mathangani, joined by Patrick Walsh. Patrick, I know we're in kind of trying times the world over, but it does seem refreshing to me that the leader of the free world is wanting to help college athletics fix itself because there is no commissioner of college sports.
Yeah, I mean, when you take a look at what sports do for people, they bring people together, they unite people. You take a look at the Olympics this past month, it united people. What's going on this weekend that we're going to talk about starting tomorrow, the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
What is the USA hosting later this year? The World Cup. So, I mean, sports are supposed to unite people, and we have been talking on and on this show about how it just feels like the collegiate landscape is a little bit broken right now. I mean, I love watching Trinidad Chambliss. I feel like you definitely know that.
Yeah.
But we can't just be going to the court just to get what we want at this point. There needs to be some structure here, some guidelines, so to speak. And I think with President Trump hosting this roundtable on Friday, getting all of these other people that are involved in sport, kind of basically brainstorming ideas and a way for the government to get involved, to place some guidelines on college sports, because you and I both know NIL and just paying players is getting a little bit out of hand right now.
One of the things I've always liked, just in general, and I'm just speaking for myself personally, is not that I hate people that only talk about problems, but whatever its first cousin is, that's what I am. I hate people that literally only discuss problems with no solutions, or even try to find solutions.
Hey,
so I'm glad for this.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but you remember how we had Nick Kleinert on the first time?
Yes.
And I was telling him about he gives out that book to all of his golfers.
Yeah.
And in the book,
Oh, did you find the book?
Yeah. I've been reading it.
Oh, okay, nice. I didn't know that.
It's a good book.
I didn't know that.
I think it's goodness, I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'll get back to you.
Something mindset.
Oh,
I thought it was. The name is escaping me, but no, I didn't know you were reading the book though.
Yeah. It's a good book, but it basically tells you like, hey, a lot of people just think with a problem-centric mindset, you gotta find the solution in everything. And maybe that's what maybe the people that haters first cousin or whatever you said need to read the book.
I know, but there really is there's a mindset shift, in my opinion, when it comes to things like this, because right now it is so easy to complain about what's going on in college sports.
Yeah.
President Trump is going to put together a roundtable of people and some very notable names, both in this conference and out of this conference, that will be a part of this. And you see some of the names that are in it right here. Greg Sankey, who's the SEC commissioner, who, of course, he has also stepped in. You've talked about the lawsuits that have gone on. He stepped in, wrote an affidavit, basically against what we're seeing right now with Charles Bediako. So he's injected himself into this conversation there as well. Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, will be in this thing as well. You got Britton Yormark, who he's been very vocal himself about some of the problems in and around sports. And not everybody, what I like, and it's not everybody is all in sports. I think that, Greg Sankey, I think if he wasn't the commissioner, I think he's got his law degree. I think he was on track to be a lawyer. So you're going to get some outside voices, from commissioner voices from different levels, and it's not just college people. So you're not talking into an echo chamber, so to speak.
Right, and I mean the list goes on here. We were just talking about the commissioners on that slide, but Urban Meyer is going to be a part of this. Tim Tebow, obviously with Tebow time and everything. Tiger Woods is going to be a part of this. That one kind of surprised me a little bit.
Yeah.
Nick Saban, a lot of people are trying to get him to be the commissioner of college sports.
There ain't no
It'll
way
never
in the world.
happen.
There ain't no way in the world.
You could not pay that man a monetary value to get him off the college game day.
He's having so
and
much fun
away
right now.
from Pat McAfee, there is no way if Nick Saban, and I'll keep this on the record, if Nick Saban leaves the college game day set to become the commissioner, I can't really say I'm going to wear Pitt Panthers stuff because I was supposed to do that and I never did. I just remember.
Oh yeah,
that.
you still got to pay that debt.
Yeah, all right. You know what? Maybe I will pay that debt. If West Virginia's not even good at anything.
Yeah.
Oh, they're good at women's basketball.
Yeah.
So I'll double down on it. Okay, hold me to this. If the West Virginia women's basketball team, they're the number 2 seed in the Big 12 right now.
Okay.
If they lose their first game of the Big 12 tournament, I will wear Pitt Panther stuff for a whole week.
So Pitt Panther stuff for a week. And then you got to wear like a hat or something if Nick Saban becomes the commissioner.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, that one feels safe. I don't think
shake on it through the.
Oh yeah. There it is.
There.
Yep. Done.
Yeah. There you go.
We're in. But I think so too. When it comes back to this roundtable, it's all, kind of the conversation got started with a golf match between President Trump, Urban Meyer, and Nick Saban. And obviously whenever you get people on a golf course, as you know, you play a lot of golf, you just get to talking about wide-ranging things and super specific things. So I would love to be a fly on the wall, so to speak, in that meeting, and then maybe what comes out of that meeting into the boardroom when they actually do get Tiger Woods and Yormark and everybody else involved.
Right, but I think, in my opinion, this isn't going to be solved in one meeting. This is going to be the culmination of probably months. But what, in your opinion, what is the most pressing issue in college sports right now?
I think that the interests are not aligned in a lot of places. So, for example, the reason why we're seeing a lot of the players go to the court system is because the NCAA doesn't necessarily manage their own guardrails for their own rules.
Correct.
So it just seems like European player number X, and I don't want to pick on anybody in particular, but St. Mary's and Gonzaga, they have been picking off European professional basketball players for years. Kentucky has a guy.
St. Mary's is catching strays out here.
But it's to the broader point. But then you get a guy that plays in the G League at Alabama. He goes on, and it's really cumbersome. He plays for 2 games, then he goes to the court, then he has to go to the Supreme Court, and then he comes back. And so, to me, it's the NCAA providing its own guardrails. But the thing is, the NCAA is powerless. For the most part, they're powerless. They don't have any subpoena powers. So they end up. They've got a couple of wins here, and which has been good for them. They got a couple of wins in court on appeals, and so if the NCAA can get some guardrails, that is obviously number one. Secondly, I think that they figured it out on NIL, not necessarily all the way through. They figured it out for the most part on NIL. You have the house settlement. Every school gets the same amount of money, but you still have your big money people, like your guy at Texas Tech and some other spots. But then secondly, where it's getting really ugly is when it comes to eligibility for individual players. Because now we've seen now 2 instances. We saw it at Washington with Damon Williams. And then we saw what with Darian Mensah, where the school ends up suing the athlete. And I just don't think that college sports, we shouldn't be in this space where you have institutions suing student athletes. But here's the thing: I understood them. If I was head of that institution and we agreed on a $2 million NIL deal, and then you renege on the deal, and then you go somewhere else, and me saying, okay, well, I've already given you X amount of dollars. Now you have to go fight to go get it back. I just don't think anybody wants to see that in college athletics.
What do all of those problems have in common?
Well, I mean, I am a person that thinks the NCAA, and I say this on a lot of cases, it's the worst governing body in sports.
Let's start a tracker. It'll pop up in the top right. I forgot how many times you said it.
I don't know about sports. It might be the worst governing body, period. I mean, I'm talking HOAs. It could have the worst HOA ever. I think the SEC, I think the NCAA is worse. It's worse than FIFA. It's worse than the IOC. Because at least they're transparent. The NCAA tries to act like it's pure amateurism, and it's not. And I'm
what even is that word mean anymore?
I'm turning into one of the people that I hate, just complaining, just listing off complaints. But
you are the problem.
I know, but to me, I think if you do have some sort of guidelines with the NCAA and they are able to police themselves, then they're fine. It just feels like these are just one-off case scenarios every now and again, and then now you don't have any.
Right.
So now it's a point where it's like, hey, Tiger Woods, I know you played 1 year at Stanford. Come help save college sports.
Yeah, but I mean, every single problem that you listed goes back to NIL. And I mean, that's where the first violation of traditional amateurism was seen in college sports, but that's been widely acceptable now.
But do you not think that was coming anyways?
No, it was coming. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Or do you think let me ask you this: do you think it's fair?
What?
Because
that
the athletes are getting paid.
Yeah.
Same.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't be paid, but we need to limit it. Like we need to have salary caps now.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we've been talking about how there's going to be a lockout next year in the MLB. I mean, that's all but certain. But you cannot have guys / teams give wide receivers, Cam Coleman, a blank check.
Yeah.
And say, oh, yes, this is college sports. This is great for the sport.
No.
You cannot tell me that is good for the sport. You cannot tell me that Miami offers Ty Simpson $6+ million to come back to college football and say that's good for the sport.
Yeah.
So it all revolves around NIL and money. And I think that is the most pressing issue right now that needs to be fixed, because in turn, that's going to solve some of the eligibility problems. Because right now, guys are thinking to themselves, why would I go to the draft when I can, even if I do get drafted late in the first round, I could make more money in college.
Yeah.
So we need to limit these things. Like every problem that stems from this will be eliminated if you go to the root and get rid of the root.
Yeah. And I do think that they're trying to do that. You run into some antitrust issues when it comes to caps, and it's like, okay, if let's say I win the lottery tomorrow, I'm a billionaire. Who's stopping me from giving 6 figures to my favorite quarterback? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, so it's like you run up against the sense of capitalism, and it's like, okay, right, yeah. I mean, I'd buy, I'm holding this business to myself, but I'd make it happen. I'd make it possible if I did, obviously, had the funds to just throw away, because there's no return, there's no actual return on your investment on that, because you're literally, unless a championship buys you everything, then we saw it last year with Vitamin Water. The guy at Vitamin Water basically bought St. John's whole team. I don't know what the ROI is on that, except he just has this big smile on his face, but he can't score a point. So it's like,
that's true.
I thought because of that, because of the business aspects of it, this pool would run dry, so to speak, and then some cooler heads would prevail. But we're still kind of in la la land when it comes to that. A lot of the stuff that it comes back to would be, what are the penalties for the violators? We're not talking about the people who do it right. Yeah. We're not talking about the hundreds of teams that do it right. We're talking about the ones that are violators, and what would those penalties actually even look like? Yeah. For the teams moving forward.
Well, we do have some potential penalties for portal circumvention. As we've been talking about this year, there's only one portal window, and you can agree or disagree. But some of these teams, the NCAA committee is growing paranoid that we're going to have these quote-unquote silent transfers where they don't actually enter into the transfer portal after spring practice. They just unenroll and then enroll at a new school and show up and basically be a walk-on. Well, the NCAA committee is proposing penalties for portal circumvention, looking to prohibit these teams from adding players in the spring. And let me just go ahead and show you these, because these are some of the harshest potential penalties we have ever seen from the NCAA. So if a team were to violate this, their head coach would be suspended for 6 games. You cannot do any football-related activities. That includes recruiting, coaching, all of that. 6 games. And then the school would be fined 20% of the football budget.
Wow.
That's a lot of
big
money.
Yeah.
And the one at the bottom is also pretty harsh. You have to reduce your roster size by 5 for the next season, even if you make a change at head coach.
See, that is wild. I mean, because you are now going to slap a whole program and shake it down. I wonder how much Dabo Swinney, when he came out and basically laid out what was going on between Ole Miss and just how dirty. I think he just laid out how dirty this world is. And I wonder how much of that stemmed from, how much of these penalties, these potential penalties, stem from those conversations. It's like, oh wow, we knew it was a dirty game, but I mean, no offense to Ole Miss, they're in the SEC, but it just showed you just how cutthroat it is. Because I don't think it was an isolated situation.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's not just Ole Miss doing this.
No, he learned it from. I mean,
well, I don't understand.
There's a lot of things that could speculate.
I don't understand why Dabo. I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but I don't understand why Dabo is just now realizing that people are tampering.
Yeah.
Like, you should have been on this whole portal wave 5 years ago. Right. No, you stood to your roots. And what has Clemson done in the last few years? Not much. I mean, they lost at home to Syracuse.
Yeah.
Look how that was the last game Syracuse won.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. That's
Clemson is.
And I think that Dabo might have thought that after he said all that there were going to be a
he thought he was tough, wasn't he?
A boatload of coaches that come after that and highlight, their issues of tampering. But you can't.
No.
You can't do it. Why?
Because
everybody's got dirt on everybody else as well, and you do it. So
it's like, the whole Spider-Man.
Yes, it's the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Everyone, because everybody is, on this train. So obviously, we will, break down what comes out of this meeting and maybe some potential changes as it relates to college sports moving forward.